Well, when he gets behind and when the game gets tough, he can't really come back. So he did today. They win in Seattle. I saw our guy
Yeah.
Perry said in the chat, this is the first win in Seattle during the day on a Sunday in like 11 years. Because they've played on Thursday nights in Seattle for the last like 4 or 5 years. I think going back to like 2019. Or no, 2019 was a Sunday night. But still, it's been a long time they've been playing Thursday nights in Seattle. So, yeah, I guess we should get to the injury report, right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, George Kittle left with a hamstring injury and was very quickly ruled out. You never like to see that. And then Juwan Jennings later left with a shoulder injury. He was questionable to return, but Pam Oliver said on the sideline he could barely lift his arm up. So that's not great. Dominic Pooney got hurt. He did come back. Trent Williams got hurt. He did come back. I want to say that was it. I'm trying to think if there were any other injuries.
I couldn't think of any. Nothing that sticks out to me.
Right. So,
I mean, there was like the brief instance where everybody was worried about Fred Warner. It looked like he landed on a cleat in his gut and he got like kicked in the face. So like he had a bloody nose, but he came back in pretty quick.
Yeah, thankfully. He definitely, he landed on a cleat, got the wind knocked out of him, and then he's on the sideline spitting out blood, and afterward you see him in the shot with a bunch of cotton stuffed in his nose. So
yeah,
I don't know if he broke his nose or something, or just got kicked in it really badly and blood's coming out. But what a warrior, just came back. And speaking of linebackers, how about D. Winters? D. Winters was all over the place today in a good way. So I was really happy to see that. He was, I think, my pick for who to look out for, defensive player of the game. Wasn't quite that much, but he was very promising, much improved from last year, in my opinion, for what we saw from him. So I was really,
100%.
really excited to see that. What did you think of we talked about Upton Stout, the other rookie that got the start today over Jair Brown, Marcus Siegel?
Listen, I thought he did a really good job. I didn't see him involved in a ton of negative plays, and he had the fumble recovery, which I think is very important. And again, when you don't hear somebody's name in a negative context, I think that's a good thing. And it just, listen, Brown's stock is falling almost as fast as Jake Moody's. I mean, on like right at the beginning of the game, on the opening kickoff, he has a penalty against him. You know, it's just like, whew, it's not good. But I thought Siegel played well. I thought there's a reason why he's starting, and he kind of showed it. He gives them a dimension of speed that, Jair Brown doesn't give you. So I thought that was good. I know I didn't hear a lot of Pinnock's name, although he did get beat early. I saw him get beat early by Jackson Smith and Jigba. Right. So it's going to be a work in progress. I think the safety group is probably the weakest on the defensive side of the ball. Because even the linebackers, I mean, they were able to get a lot done without Nick Martin even being active today. So we'll see what happens.
Right.
The defense was really good, but sometimes, I don't know, man, there was something about them that was really up and down, particularly with the run defense. Sometimes they'd get in the backfield, and then other times they're just getting crushed 3 plays in a row. So,
right. I mean, to me, that was the classic bend, don't break defense from Robert Saleh. They only gave up 13 points, and the offense didn't help the defense that much. I mean, 2 turnovers. Mm-hmm. It was just putting them in bad positions. I was happy with them holding the Seahawks to 13 and then getting them down inside the 49ers 9-yard line and coming up with the stop somehow. I thought it was going to have to end on like a 4th down heave to the end zone, but we didn't even let it get to that. We got our guy Mike here. We're going to bring him in and get his thoughts on the game. Let me change the overlay.
And real quick, Shu Longo, D-line is young and they're learning as the season goes on. The young players on the defensive line, other than Michael Williams, didn't really play today. You didn't get a lot from Collins or West. I'd be interested to see what their snap count was, but Kalia Davis and Huff was in there a lot. Who's the other defensive tackle?
Samo. Elliott and Samo.
Yeah. So those guys essentially played, and West and Collins didn't really get any run.
All right.
That's where I see the unevenness in the run game, is because it's the same defensive line that gave up a lot of running yards last year. So Now again, in totality, the stats don't look as bad as like what you saw in the game. And I think a lot of that goes to really this game shouldn't have been close at all. If we're being completely honest, the 49ers should have won this by like 3 scores. But self-inflicted wounds kept the Seahawks in it. And you got an ugly win on the road. And, you know, you try not to be negative, but there's a lot that really needs to be cleaned up, you know.
We're not negative. We're just objective, right? We're not going to come on here and tell you guys
I got to call a spade a spade.
Everything's great. Yeah. The 49ers are going to win the next 16 in a row. Yeah. Mike, I guess give me your initial thoughts. How you feeling?
Man, this game was all about ebbs and flows. This game was all about heart, grit, and tenacity, man. I want to first shout out the officials. I know it's going to sound crazy, but there was questionable calls on both sides of the ball. As long as it's not leaning towards one or the other, that illegal contact on Brock Purdy, it wasn't helmet to helmet. It looked like the guy's shoulder pad hit him, and that's just because of a size difference. They got that. The illegal contact or pass interference in the end zone that happened against number 20, Stout. Right? Everyone felt like that ball was not catchable, but it should have at least been a illegal contact because he had both hands on the guy's arm. Yeah, or a hold, right? Yeah. So the refs were equally bad or good, however you want to do it. This game did not come down to the officiating crew. That's my point. I really sincerely appreciate a football game that I can watch like that from start to finish. And I apologize for being late. My people over on Nothing But Niners were just too hyped up, and they were still – I'll be honest with you guys. A person came in as we were saying the outro, and I just had to ignore them. Like, Super Chats went ignored. I apologize for everybody out there, but I told them that we were coming here, so hopefully they have shifted their attention over here. Hopefully you guys can see the numbers jumping a little bit. I did tell them to come on over here. Robert Saleh. This is the reason we brought him back. I mean, I don't know if you guys said anything about Robert Saleh, but I want to give him a round of applause. This is the reason we brought Robert Saleh back, right? And it wasn't that the defense was phenomenal from start to finish, but when we need the defense to make a stop, right? Nick Bosa didn't even strip the ball out. We had the butt fumble a couple years ago with Mark Sanchez. This was the back fumble, right? Nick Bosa pushed his offensive lineman into the throwing arm of Sam Darnold, and the ball came out. But he had the mental wherewithal to see the ball on the ground and then dive on top of it. So he should get credit for the strip and recovery there. Shout out to Nick Bosa for doing that there. On the offensive side of the ball, I mean, Trent Williams in and out of the lineup, right? George Kittle gone with the hamstring. Jawan Jennings gone with the shoulder. And the Niners still found a way. Everybody was concerned about Christian McCaffrey's health. He showed that he's out here. And as the game went on, he seemed to hit another gear. He was just churning more and more, harder and harder, right? Like, so shout out to him. Brian Robinson, keep getting your feet wet, come on. But Ricky Pearsall, man. I mean, Ricky Pearsall was so good that Brock Purdy threw to him not once, but twice with at least 3 people around him. One of them ended up in a pick. The other one, actually, I think both of them ended up in a pick, now that I think about it. I think both of them ended up in a pick as Brock Purdy threw to him with triple and quadruple coverage on him. But that's just how much Brock Purdy trusts this kid to make a play. And that speaks volumes. It's going to play dividends going forward. It's going to help out a lot when we have Brandon Ayuk coming back from injury, Robinson coming back from the suspension list, and then when we have Jawan Jennings even returning later on. That is going to be a formidable wide receiving corps that the NFL is not going to know how to deal with. So there were a lot of positive things to see here. That's what I got on the positive side. The negative side, obviously, you got Jake Moody missing the first kick attempt. And if I'm talking about something that you guys haven't got to yet, tell me to shut up and I'll wait until we get to it. Jake Moody missing the first kick.
Well, we haven't gotten into Moody too much, but let's talk about it.
Okay, there you go. Jake Moody missed the first kick. Everyone's also crediting him for the second one. I don't care who was back there kicking for the second one. It didn't matter. A guy came in unblocked, untouched, and just basically snatched the ball out the air. And so that had nothing to do. It could have been Robbie Gould, Phil Dawson, David Akers. It didn't matter which 49ers former kicker was back there. That ball was going to get blocked. So I think we have to place our anger the right way. Is Jake Moody great? Absolutely not. Is Jake Moody good? Probably not even good. Right? But that second one was not on Jake Moody. And I don't want us to look like a bunch of crybabies saying, oh, we didn't kick kicker because he missed 2 kicks in the first game. He didn't miss 2 kicks in the first game. The offensive line let him down.
I mean, it's like the people blaming him for the blocked extra point in the Super Bowl. I don't put that on him. I put the other shit on him, but I don't put that on him. I don't know the rules. So tell me if I'm wrong, chat, or you guys. I didn't think it was legal for the defensive line to pin down the opposing offensive line in a kick, because the Seahawks got our offensive line by the back of the heads and were pushing them down and holding them there on that blocked kick, which allowed the whoever it was, Witherspoon or whoever the fuck it was to come around and block the kick. So I don't know. I really don't know if that's legal or not, but it doesn't matter because they won, thankfully. But if they lost, that would have been a pretty fucked up situation, in my opinion.
So you're allowed to pull people down. What you're not allowed to do is pull them down and then try to jump over them. That's leverage.
Gotcha.
And so that I know you're not allowed to do. I don't know if just pulling them down is a penalty or not, but I know that you're not allowed to use leverage and then try to hop over them or use them as like a stepping stool to get higher and try to block the kick. So I don't know. But here's what I do know. That second kick wasn't on Jake Moody. And I was a little upset with Kyle Shanahan. Let me be honest here. So it was a 4th down. I think it was like a 4th and 2, and he decided to go for it. And we did convert. I didn't like the play going into it. However, I realized Dominic Pooney is on the line of protection for field goals and extra points. And he had just got hurt the play before, so he wasn't allowed to participate in the field goal unit, which means we not only did we just have another kick blocked, the one before that, now you're going to remove and replace a blocker in that situation. So they did make the right decision by going for it on 4th down, and they did convert. Now the rest of that drive is a different story. I won't get into it, but they did convert that 4th and 2. So they did make the right decision when it all came down to it. So I don't want to keep going. Matt, what were your thoughts on Jake Moody? Have you officially thrown in the towel on him?
Trash.
Because
get him the fuck. He shouldn't even be on the plane back to San Francisco. Fuck that guy. I don't give a fuck. It's not about whether the block was on him or not. First of all, you missed a 27-yarder. Doing, right? 2, I think partially I agree that the line was getting back there. But 2, you have a 2-step into the kick, but you take fucking forever. It's slow. Because he's in his own head. His confidence is shot, right? At the end of the game, after the 49ers score the touchdown, is he able to get it in the landing zone? No. He puts it in the end zone where they can down it and get it at the 35. So that's costing them field position. He had multiple touchbacks. I'm done. And Kyle can say that there's no question that Moody's going to be the starter. I don't know. I think he's fucking lying. I think they've already called Greg Joseph and it's like, all right, come on back, dude.
He said, that's because you're asking me right now this minute. It's going to change when you ask me. I think he's just being
He's not committing to anything. He's not committing to anything. But you can't have that guy on your team. And it wasn't just the 4th and 2 that he decided not to kick field goals. They had multiple 4th downs that they converted where they decided. There was the one later to Christian McCaffrey out in the flat where McCaffrey was able to get there. That was well within field goal range that they decided not to kick it because even Kyle has no confidence in Jake Moody.
Well, that's what was confusing.
If you can't have confidence in your kicker, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then, is it any wonder after the 49ers leave a ton of points on the board that Purdy starts playing a little bit more hero ball? Yeah. And don't listen, Brock Purdy's not completely off the hook for that because the 2 picks were bad decisions, very bad decisions, very bad throws, very bad decisions.
They were terrible decisions, worse than bad.
And even the last throw that he got the touchdown on to Tonjes, dude, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good because that was a shitty.
There were 3 defenders right there in front of him, and the one guy had his hands on the ball. Tonjes just like monster grips it from him.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing he threw towards Tariq Woolen because that's what happens when you do that. Because Tariq Woolen got cooked all game. There hasn't been a bigger fall off than Tariq Woolen in a long time.
Says Jair Brown.
Yeah, exactly.
Tonjes was asked about that catch at the end, or after the game. He said, I asked Purdy if he was throwing it out of bounds, and he said, no, I was trying to give you a chance. We didn't want to kick a field goal. Didn't want to go to overtime. We wanted to score and win it right there. Sure, you didn't want to go to overtime. You also didn't want to miss. I mean, after Moody's blocked kick, Pam Oliver reported players throwing their helmets, players pissed off on the sidelines. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, both missed kicks. His reaction was pissed off. It's like that meme of Scooby-Doo where they're taking the mask off the villain. And it's Kyle Shanahan. He's unmasking himself. Moody is on this team specifically because of him and nobody else. You signed another kicker in the preseason. You had to let him go because of injuries. You could have let Moody go. I mean, we talked about this, and I understand once you make that decision with Moody, there's no bringing him back. But it didn't get any better. It really has not gotten any better. And I think I saw a stat out of his last 22 kicks. He's 11 for 22. It's just not good enough. You're literally flipping a coin every time. A coin flip actually probably has better chances than Jake Moody, honestly. Juszczyk is a backup kicker. Throw his ass out there. He probably kicked better than Jake Moody. I'm tired of Jake Brendel being the watcher. I want a center that actually does something. He's just standing there with his hands on his hips. Well, damn, I got beat, watching his quarterback get sacked, watching CMC get tackled immediately. Every single play, it seemed like the Seahawks had 1 to 2 defenders in the backfield within a second or two. The offensive line was not good today.
Well, just go back to Moody and players slamming their helmets and stuff like that. Drea Papageorgis, formerly known as Drea Blackwell, friend of the show, she was just like, look, just to bring this back full circle, it's probably not a great sign if the entire team feels shocked to the point of celebration after a game-winning kick in the preseason.
Right. They carried him up like Rudy.
Right.
They carried him up like Rudy.
Right. It's like, wow, man, you did it. It's like when you see how we're 23 minutes in. Okay. It's like when you see the fucking Downsy kid in a basketball game and they keep handing the fucking kid the ball and then he finally makes it into the hoop and everybody just starts celebrating. Even the other team is like, yeah, man, good job. Good job. That's
they don't even go to block it. They just kind of stand there and let him shoot it.
That's what Moody's like. I don't expect a kicker to make every kick. No kicker does. But at one point they threw up a stat that like in his last 40 attempts or whatever, Moody's only hitting 60-something% of his kicks.
Yeah.
That's trash. Get the fuck out of here, man.
And that comment by Acebra about Purdy. Let me tell y'all. Purdy's an average quarterback. I'm sorry. This guy throws into the most dangerous places at the worst possible times. I'm not kidding at all. First of all, he threw 2 games. He threw 2 times this game where both feet were off the ground. He jumped to throw back across the field twice in the first half. The other interception that he threw was off of his back foot while fading away. Right? Yep. This kid makes way too much money to make these kind of decisions. Right. And every one of those interceptions that he threw, he had somebody open on the other side of the field. Mm-hmm. He had someone open on the other. It may not have been converted for a first down or whatever, but it was still somebody there, which would have given us a chance at least. He's got to learn to read the field better and calm the hell down. I'm sorry.
I'm going to push back on that a little bit because one of the other areas where this team was absolutely dog shit was in protection. The O-line was shit today. The O-line was absolute shit. And that Purdy to begin the game was very crisp, was doing his thing, was whatever. And as soon as he started getting hit and flushed and whatever else, that's when you start to... This O-line is going to give him the yips. He's going to become David Carr, where he just gets hit so much that he's, remember Jimmy Garoppolo would do this shit, where it's almost like he would close his eyes and throw the football because he was so used to getting hit. And that's what this is turning into, because there were quite a few times where... And part of this is Shanahan for the play calling too, because you have to know that your line's not going to hold up. There was one play in particular where Christian McCaffrey was on the wrong side of the line when they had Julian Love blitzing up the middle.
Yes,
and he tried to dive back in and save it, but they ran play action off of that. Purdy's not allowed to change the protection because Kyle Shanahan knows best, and he's the guru and all this shit. All you have to do is flip the play, flip the protection, and all of a sudden Christian McCaffrey's lined up on the opposite side and is in position, even off the fake, to pick up the fucking block.
This shit about Purdy not being able to change protections and all that, and I'm not saying you're wrong, it's got to stop. There was a play that they ran in the first half, and it was 10 men in the box.
Yep.
It was 10 men in the box, and they still ran the ball. I'm sorry. No, you cannot do that. There has to be some sort of audible that you can call that's a quick hitter and float it over the defensive line. And, it would have been a fucking home run. I don't care who the play was to. I don't care who it was to. If Kyle has that kind of control over his offensive lineman or the center who's supposed to call out the protections or the quarterback, then you aren't going to be successful because you're not out there, and you have to give these guys the time to react real time and in the moment. And if Kyle is taking that away from them and they just are out there on autopilot, we're not going to have success. And I don't know if that's why Purdy is throwing in the triple and quadruple coverage the way that he is. I don't know if that's why he's doing it, and we're never going to know that. We speculated that with Jimmy Garoppolo.
All the way across the field through his progressions, because he has every time he gets hit, his internal clock is speeding up because the offensive line is fucking dog shit. Right. Trent Williams is washed, guys. Sorry to tell you that. He looked terrible.
And so the second interception that he threw, it was third down, and Christian McCaffrey actually ran for a first down, but Trent Williams had the penalty. So then it was
second down, but yeah.
I'm sorry. It went from second and short, and we got the first to to 3rd and
second
like
and
12.
13.
Yeah.
And-
Second and 13.
Right. And so then he ends up throwing an interception. That's just as much on Trent Williams as it is on Brock Purdy.
Yep.
That's just as much on it, but I don't know why Brock Purdy just consistently locks in on one guy regardless of what's around him. Like, make reads, bro. Like, you make too much money to just be a puppet. I'm sorry. Do something. Because when he was running the ball and he was scrambling and making plays, the offense was moving, right? Like, okay, we see it. Everyone's covered. So then you go out there and gain 2 or 3 yards instead of throwing it into danger. Like he's got to have that mental wherewithal. All right, I'm going to shut up.
We also got to pump the brakes a little bit just because, again, Kittle exits the first drive. Pearsall's really the only, like, Jennings is gone. So then you're running out there with Marquez Valdes-Scantling and Russell Gage as your other receivers, and then Jake Tonjes and Luke Farrell as your tight end. So, like, you are missing some weapons. You're getting hit. I think he was making reads on that play, but if he had a little extra second, he could have turned his head just a little bit left and seen Brian Robinson in the flat with a blocker in front of him.
With a blocker.
That's where you throw the ball, especially on second down. You might not get a first down, but you're gonna get some yardage, right? So those are the areas where Purdy's making bad decision. First interception, right? I actually, for once in his life, Greg Olsen made a good breakdown of the play where, McCaffrey's supposed to chip and then settle underneath as like a check down option. And because he fell on the play, the linebacker was able to get depth on that throw. Without the linebacker there, that's probably complete to Jennings for a first down because Jennings was past the corner on that side. But that being said, Purdy has to see that linebacker and not throw that fucking ball.
That part. The linebacker was there the whole fucking time. So you got to see it before you throw the ball. And that's when I say read the field,
those are the areas where those are the areas where Purdy needs to make better decisions. But if Kyle isn't willing to take the training wheels off of a $260 million quarterback, then how can you trust him to make those decisions? Like you said, Kyle is kind of putting him into autopilot to begin the play. Like, hey, Purdy, can you call your own protections, audible out of plays if you need to. Let's see what your decision-making truly is rather than, okay, you have to go. Like, I'm sure Purdy's looking at that 10-man box where he's running and he's like, fuck, man, really? Like, we're going to do this? Because you send in 2 plays. How do we know those 2 plays were both running plays?
And by the way, the one guy that was not considered in the box was only not in the box because he was so far outside the hash. He was still within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage.
He was covering the one wide receiver on the field.
Yes. So, everybody was down in the box. Like, you can't run the ball on that play, bro.
And here's the thing. Why do you not do like a quick play action where, like, you just fake a handoff up the middle or whatever and then leave that guy in one-on-one coverage? Like, I'd rather he throw it fucking 50 yards down the field on a go ball and see what happens. That's better outcome than running it into a 10-man box and expecting anything different because none of these guys are holding blocks. Like, McKivitz was embarrassing today. Brendel was embarrassing today. Like, Trent Williams, embarrassing today. Trent Williams, again, he's washed.
Horrible.
He's washed.
And Tommy with the super chat says Barch didn't get injured. It's a miracle. He's pretty much the only one that didn't get injured on offense. But I just think I don't know if it's the scheme. I don't know if it's the talent, but the defensive line of the Seahawks overmatched the offensive line for the 49ers. And I'm not even that surprised because for the past how many years now, but for the past 6-7 weeks, going back to April when they only drafted one player in the 7th round to address the offensive line, we've been waving the red flag over here saying, you just paid your quarterback, Matt, $260 million, and you're putting him out there with a bunch of scrubs. Trent Williams in his 16th season, and you're hoping that plus one above-average player in his second year, Dominic Pooney, is good enough to just let him free, let him go out there and run an offense and win games. It worked today, just barely, and that's because Sam Darnold is a shit quarterback. That's the only reason why this worked.
Fucking pumpkin.
150 yards passing and 124 that went to one player.
Well, it's even worse than that. I mean, the 49ers, again, should have won this game by 3 scores. Yes. They dominated this game except for a few plays. Yep. A few bad plays from Jake Moody and from Brock Purdy. They outgained the Seahawks 384 to 230. They had more passing yards, more rushing yards, more yards per play, more first downs, better third down efficiency, converted on 4th down. They had 22 more plays from scrimmage than the Seahawks. They had 15 minutes more time of possession than the Seahawks. The turnovers were tied, It's really penalties and those couple of mistakes that really cost this team. And I think part of those mistakes, again, is the blind spot that Kyle has for filling in that offensive line, the blind spot that he has for not trusting his quarterback to set protections like every other fucking quarterback does in the NFL. And the fact that Jake Moody, you can't count on your special teams again, right? Boyer's supposed to come in here and fix these special teams. What did we count today, Zach? 5, 6?
At least 6
special teams mistakes.
Yeah. Yep.
There was
Special
the hold
teams
on
was
Brown.
terrible.
Yeah.
I don't want Sky Moore here. I don't know
Bro,
what happened to Junior Bergen.
Every catch, I'm holding my breath. Every single
he
catch.
bobbled one.
Almost everything. He
Yeah,
bobbled all
like-
of them.
Where is Junior Bergen? Because I'm sorry, I have more confidence in him than Sky Moore. And I understand that we traded for him, so now he's going to have to be the guy for at least 5 weeks. But Sky Moore is not the answer. I'm sorry, he's not. He gives us nothing as far as a wide receiver, and he gives us nothing but agita in the terms of a return man. Like he needs to go. I don't like this guy at all.
So let's go through these stats here. Real quick, I said we have another super chat from Roberto Davis. I didn't have a defensive win on my bingo card. With Robert Saleh back, add it back on there, baby, because you never know what's going to happen. Team stats.
Here's my worry about that, though, because the 49ers, again, had the ball 15 minutes longer, ran 22 more plays, but it just seemed like in the first quarter and the fourth quarter that defense it takes a while to get going. It's really good in the middle of the game, and then at the end. And I almost feel like, again, like Mike said, right, we got the back fumble. A lot of that was Bosa, but then some of that was luck, too, in the positioning of Sam Darnold, that Sam Darnold doesn't have the awareness to step up a little bit when you know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, we'll take it, but, and we got some pretty shitty teams on the schedule coming up. That's going to be a saving grace, but definitely this is sloppy. I think some of this goes back to, the fact that none of the starters really play in the preseason. So this is like game 1 for them, like preseason wise too. So,
and then when they did play, they got hurt. I mean, like you said, he was going out there with Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Well, this game too. Yeah.
Russell Gage and Ricky Pearsall. So it's unfortunate.
Well, yeah. Well, maybe we should graduate from the negatives and get into the positives, because I do think that Ricky Pearsall was a big positive.
Fantastic
Ricky Pearsall
today.
Cooked.
Fantastic today. But let's go these stats.
Yeah.
So passing first downs, 15-6, 49ers. Rushing first downs, 7-6. First downs for penalties, 2-2. 7 for 14 on third down, whereas the Seahawks were 3 for 10, and the 49ers converted both fourth down attempts. They were 2 for 2. Total plays, they had 50% more than the Seahawks, 72 versus 50, just about. Total yards, 384 versus 230. And they only had one more drive. So they had another 154 yards on one more drive. Yards per play, 5.3 versus 4.6. Passing, 265 versus 146. Rushing, 119 versus 184. Red zone, 2 for 5 versus the Seahawks, 1 for 3. 9 for 61 on penalties. Definitely had to clean that up. Although I will say
that's like 5 years.
2 penalties and 30 yards of that was on 2 unsportsmanlike on Demo, who right away got into it with JSN, and then after the fumble recovery, got flagged for another unsportsmanlike. So that's Demo, I guess, especially with Seattle. They've been chirping at each other all
The last one
offseason.
doesn't count because the game was over. But
Right.
I mean, it's in there technically, but
Yeah,
I mean, we
exactly.
got to chalk that up.
And then tied at turnovers, 2-2. 2 fumbles versus 2 interceptions. But time of possession, Matt, you mentioned this, basically 38-22. This game should not have been close. The 49ers left at least 6 points, at most 14 on the board. And then at half, we didn't even talk about this. At half,
they left 20 on the board.
Yeah,
because
the 49ers get
both of Brock Purdy's interceptions were with them at least in the middle of the field. The first one was them in plus territory.
Yes. So at half, they get in all the way down into the red zone, right? And then the drive stalls. You drive out. Moody out there for a 27-yard field goal. Let me get rid of the stats here. You drive Moody out there for a 27-yard field goal. It doinks. And you leave enough time on the clock for the Seahawks to hit JSN in the middle of the field, wide open to about midfield. And then another couple plays later, I think Sam Darnold's running it with nobody around him because they're in man coverage. And he gets 10 yards. And then Jason Myers is able to kick a 48-yard field goal. So you doink a 27. Myers hits a 48. That's a 6-point swing right there. That's a 6-point swing right there, right to end the half. The 49ers should have been up 10-7. Instead, they're down 10-7. And then you have 2 turnovers. So, yeah, I agree with you, Matt. That's 3 scores. However you want to chop it up, field goals, touchdowns, a mix of the two, that's left on the board. This game should not have been close. Not in any way, shape, or form. The 49ers dominated in basically all facets except for the scoreboard, which is unfortunate. But
yeah,
I'm trying not to be negative, like you said.
No, well, and look, I think Ricky Pearsall played very well. I think Brock Purdy minus, 3. Well, I would say there were 5 throws. I think the one jump throw was kind of bad. The one that was to Robinson would have been there, but Robinson at the last second he was sitting and then he decided to vacate the zone. So that one ended up a little bit behind him. He missed a touchdown to Pearsall because he didn't put enough mustard on the football, which is like my worst, critique of Brock Purdy. He doesn't have enough arm. Yeah, Sean, you're tripping, brother. He doesn't have enough arm that a slightly strong. If that was Baker Mayfield, that would have been a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? Like a small statured quarterback.
To be fair, Tariq Woolen has like insanely long arms. I think if there's any other DB but Tariq Woolen, that's a touchdown. But I agree with you. Pearsall was ready.
If he puts more zip on it, it's there. And
Pearsall had turned the corner and was ready for that for about a second and a half before Purdy put it on him.
Well, here's the other thing, too. If Brock Purdy doesn't think he has the mustard to get it to the front pylon, he could always throw it over the top to the back because Pearsall was behind everybody.
Yeah. Yep.
Like you just stretch to the back pylon and then Pearsall can make a play on the ball. So and then the 2 picks and then that last touchdown to Tonja's was not a good throw. It just was a good result. So those 5 throws, but for the most part, he was on time. There was a good zip on the throw to Pearsall over the middle. Went on Pearsall's first catch. It was like the 35-yarder. The double move to Pearsall was really good. By the way, slick catch by Ricky Pearsall on that. Like Tariq Woolen was in his face and he kind of slipped. So nice. He caught it underneath his arms. That's a hell of a catch. That's a good concentration catch right there. So very good. Brock Purdy minus a couple throws looked very efficient. CMC's calf, much ado about nothing. And Sean, I know you think he looks washed, but he looked fine to me.
Yeah, I want to dive into some of my positive takes on here because you guys are touching on a whole lot of it, but we're not really, focusing on anything. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Kyle Shanahan for getting this Mike McDonald monkey off of his back. Kyle Shanahan went out there and did exactly what he had to do. Now, I get it, some untimely turnovers and mixed field goals and all that kind of stuff. The scoreboard does not reflect what the Niners actually did in this game. The Niners were moving the ball up and down the field, what seemed to be like at will, other than a couple of untimely turnovers, right? So the Niners and Kyle Shanahan, this is a guy that you couldn't get past. Like if this was, there's like 3 defensive coordinators in the NFL that Kyle Shanahan sincerely struggles against all the time. It is Mike McDonald is one of them, right? Brian Flores is the other one, and then Jim
Spags.
Schwartz. Oh yeah, and Spags, yeah, and Spags, yeah. So there's 4 of them, right? This one, he got the monkey off his back in their house. That cannot be understated, right? We had a false start by Colton McKivitz just because they couldn't hear. Right, just simply because of the noise factor, right? He couldn't hear, and so the center does the head down thing, and then he jumps. He thought that was a snap, right? Boom. So I want to congratulate Kyle Shanahan on getting one of those monkeys off of his back in this game in particular. All right, so that was good. I don't know what Sean. You guys can put the super chat back up here. I don't know what Sean is talking about with Christian McCaffrey looking like he's washed up. Christian McCaffrey legitimately got better and better as the game went on. I don't know.
McCaffrey had 142 yards from scrimmage.
Yeah, like I don't know what more you want from this guy. I don't know what else you want from him, Sean. Sean, I love you. You know that he says McCaffrey looks washed. Him and Trent will be IR buddies. Now, I'm not saying that they won't end up on IR at some point in the season.
McCaffrey
what
looks
I'm saying
healthy,
is that McCaffrey does not look washed at all. So what were you going to say? Did you see what?
Did you see when McCaffrey caught that pass out of the backfield and like Williams hit him from behind and it just like pinballed him forward? He just got like way faster. It's like, okay.
Way to take the momentum.
Yep.
Way to take the momentum. And he got like 12 more yards out of that same play.
Into like a 17, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so 12, 17, 5. There it is, right there, right? Like that. Good math. Look at us in sync. Like we're a bunch of women living in the house together. That was phenomenal. That was absolutely crazy by him. Like I absolutely loved what I saw from Christian McCaffrey in that moment, right? And that's what we want to see. We want to see that. Ricky Pearsall, you guys talked about it already, right? But here's the best thing about Ricky Pearsall. Forget the stats for a second. That guy doesn't seem like any moment is too big for him. I understand it's only week 1. I understand that he didn't necessarily. I don't think he got a touchdown. Ricky Pearsall didn't score today. Did he?
He didn't. No.
Should have, but he didn't.
Kittle and Tonjes got the touchdowns.
Yes. So shout out to the tight ends. That's the other thing too. The Niners maybe have something in the tight end room for the first time in a long time, right? I thought it was going to be Luke Farrell, but Tonjes comes out and shows that, hey, you guys can depend on me when we have to make an immediate switch. It's the first time in a long time that we can say that about any 49ers tight end not named George Kittle. So I think that is deserving of.
How about the knowledge to know he wasn't touched down on that like 3rd and short? To wiggle for the first down. I mean, great play by Tonjes.
Put up Sean's. Listen, man. The offensive line didn't block. 2, Seattle's run defense is really good. None of the 49ers running backs ran well. So don't look at the average and be like, oh, he was trash. The second handoff that McCaffrey got, there were 3 dudes in the backfield before he even touched the ball. And he was able to wiggle and get like 1 or 2. He tried his best to turn. I don't know, man. He looked fast. Listen, I know it's optometry season. Maybe you should go see one. Get the prescription a little updated.
McCaffrey's never been known for his speed. I mean, maybe coming out of Stanford, but how long has he been in the NFL? I mean, he's not a fast runner.
Even in 2023, where he would break one for like 70 yards, he'd get caught by the 10. You know what I mean? There was plenty of those.
Also, Shelton, y'all are so weird. The only person we should talk about is Jake Moody. Everyone else played good to win. So stop hating on the team. Are we just supposed to talk about Moody for an hour? I mean, we talked about
everybody else didn't play good, Shelton.
No.
I'm sorry.
Trent
we love you and thank you for watching.
Well.
Yes, sir.
Trent
three of the 5 offensive linemen didn't play well. I mean, most of the defensive linemen didn't play well because, I mean, they were still running the ball. Like, it felt like at will. Our secondary didn't play well overall.
Yep.
Yeah, like so no, it wasn't just Jake Moody. There was a lot of negative here, but here's I want to get back to the positive. I'm kind of on his side at the last part, right?
Yes.
I do want to get to the positive, right? The tenacity and the will to win in this game. They showed no quit the entire game, and that's not the Niners that we saw last year.
That's
this
right.
team.
I told Matt that before we started. This is the type of game they did not win last year. Like they overcame a ton of adversity, injuries, penalties. Interceptions, turnovers, no matter what it was, they came back.
I think the difference was, whereas last year, if you looked at the body language and things went bad, especially with like Kyle and everything, it was like defeated, like you see the shoulders fall. Now it's like pure anger. They're like, what the fuck, man? And so there's that fight there that you didn't see last year. I thought Kyle Shanahan was going to hate crime Jake Moody on the sideline.
And let me say this.
So pissed.
To Matt's point, right? The difference between the looks, right? When your shoulders go down, it's like, oh man, here we go again, right? That's one way to look at it. Then there's anger. But you know what anger says? I expected more, right? They expected better this year. And that already is a completely different mindset than what we had last year, all of last year. Now, all of a sudden, you can tell that the coaching staff actually expects us to look good in certain situations. And when we don't do it, now we're disappointed. Now we're angry. Like, hey, I know we can do that. Like, what are we doing out here, guys? Like, now I'm angry at you guys. It's what Kyle Shanahan used to go to the podium after a loss and just make a ton of excuses. Well, I felt they played well overall, but, a couple bounces didn't go our way. He's making a ton of excuses, right? Like, no, it wasn't that. The anger means that you had expectations, and expectations tell you what they think they have in-house. And that's significantly better. I'll take that every single game over just, we were probably going to lose this one anyway. And that was not the attitude throughout the duration of this game.
Forever Blessed says the kick Jake made, he changed to his old style. Does anybody know if that's true? Did he go back to a 3-step kick?
I didn't see it, so I don't know.
I didn't pay. I couldn't look. I honestly couldn't look.
It's not that I didn't see it. I didn't count his steps on it. Is what I should say. I didn't count his steps there. Now, while Matt is looking that up, I want to keep giving some flowers to players. Right? We talked about Pearsall. We talked about Tonjes. I think that CMC actually had a surprisingly good game. I also want to shout out D. Winters. D. Winters is my dog of the
Yes.
day on the defensive side of the ball. That kid came in and he balled the hell out, right? Shout out to Fred Warner for going out and getting the visor added on after he, I'm not gonna say broke his nose, but he got something going on where he had tampons stuck up his nose and everything like that, right, to absorb the blood. But Fred Warner came back. But wow, did D. Winters really flash in this game? That kid really stepped up and played really, really well. We saw a couple of good plays from Diamador Lenore. Yeah, there were the penalties, but there was also some really good plays. Diamador Lenore is ready and he wants all the smoke. And I like the penalty at the end of the game. I like the penalty at the end of the game where you're not going to cost your team anything significant. The play was over. You want to chirp afterwards. We're going to the victory formation anyway. That's when you make it known, hey, and you're going to see this team again, right? It's one thing to say it and you don't have to play them again because they're an AFC opponent. This is in division. You got to play them again. Now you got to back it up one more time, So I do like seeing that by Diamador Lenore. He said himself he's going to find somebody else to go after for the Seahawks now that DK Metcalf is gone. He found this guy in Jackson Smith and Jigba. So, and by the way, guy, he had a good game.
Left? Yeah, he did. He had a great game.
He did have a good game, yeah.
I agree with you, Shelton. Our head coach needs to stop depending on Moody and go for it more on 4th and 2 than usual. If you're an offensive genius, right, and you have, I get Kittle and Jennings were out, but you're telling me you don't have enough confidence that you could draw something up to gain 2 yards as one of them. You were just voted as the top offensive, and I get the injuries. I totally get it. You should still have enough confidence in your offense to get 2 yards, at least when the other option is Jake Moody. How about that? At the very least, when those are your 2 options, I would put a little more faith in Brock Purdy in the offense than Jake Moody.
But he did, though. We were 2 for 2 on 4th down. So every time he showed faith in the offense, we got it.
He kicked it on the block kick. Like, they went for 4th and 2, and then the next 4th and 2, like 6 plays later.
Well, that's what I was going to say on that same drive. But that's an odds thing. So Kyle Shanahan also has the people upstairs that are looking at the odds. You already converted a 4th down on this drive. Odds are you're not going to get it again. So I think that was just them playing the odds at that point. I could be wrong, and I don't know what was happening, obviously.
That's fair. That's when the analytics comes in and whatnot, But I don't know how anybody in this team has confidence in Moody going past.
Jake Moody's make was still the same 2-step style. He didn't go back to the 3.
Gotcha. I see this.
And to this comment here.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
go ahead. You got it. It says Burrow, Allen, Lamar throw that 50-50 ball and they score. Everyone screams how great they are. Brock does it, and it's should have been a kick. A 4th quarter winning touchdown is what it is. Oh yeah. Oh, he meant pick. Okay, they finish. It's not
that wasn't a 50-50 ball. That was a 25-75
exactly.
ball.
Bingo, and that was the point, right? He threw it into triple coverage. It's not the same thing as a jump ball to your guy.
Tonja stole that from Woolen.
And the ball was in Woolen's hands, exactly. It was in his hands, and he just snatched that shit out of there, right? He had the case of the grabsies there, and thank God that shit is not contagious because, like, he earned it. Those were his grabsies. He took that ball, and he came down with it. And I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but damn, that felt like the Dwight Clark play. That felt like the dynasty building play right there, the birth of a dynasty play. The way he jumped up and grabbed that ball, I loved it.
It definitely is a tone setter, right? You overcome adversity in the first game, very, very sloppy, all that stuff, and you're able to do that. So one thing I also think is a positive, and again, you can call me a hater if I want because he had a good day in Washington or whatever, but I thought that the offense looked much more creative without Deebo Samuel here. I thought that there was a lot more, like Christian McCaffrey coming out of the backfield. There were some plays where they did, by the way, you called it. I think you called it. There was a play where Brian Robinson was in the backfield and they motioned McCaffrey out. And they were both in there. There was one where McCaffrey came out of the backfield and Kyle Juszczyk was in the back. We saw the chip and then wheel route from Juszczyk that was a big play. There was a lot of stuff with Kyle Shanahan being in his bag a little bit, and I think a lot of that is not feeling like you have to force feed Deebo Samuel the ball.
Yeah, I don't have the stats pulled up, but I'm pretty sure that Juice had 2 really big catches in this game, and I was going crazy for both of them because it's like that's all we need from him. He's a fullback. If a fullback has 2 catches a game, that's 34 for a year, and if both of them go for first downs, I mean, like, what more do you want from your fullback? Catch. I don't ever want to see him running the ball, right? But man, Juice can run routes and he can come down with catches, and that's what we want to see from a guy that's that. What's the word? Like he does multiple things. There's a word that. I'm blanking on the word.
Multifaceted, like versatile.
Versatile. That's the word. That's what you want to see from a guy that is that versatile. Not only can he block, you know what I mean? He could be a lead blocker and all that stuff. He can go out and light up his tight end and block. Like, that's what I want to see from Kyle Juszczyk, man. 2 catches that converted first downs. I mean, this guy was having himself a game, and this is why I wanted to see Debo off of this team. Not that Debo didn't play a part and didn't contribute to wins for the 49ers. I'm not saying that at all. But Kyle just became dependent on him. Anytime you saw Debo line up in the backfield, you just knew the ball was going to him. Now that crutch is gone, and now teams have to think about what the 49ers are going to do. And I think that paid dividends already in week 1. I love seeing
again. Yeah. And Slick, my only pushback to this, the 10-man run was pretty crappy, but at the same time, Purdy threw the ball 35 times. I mean, at some point you have to run the ball, and the players have to execute, and the line was god awful. I'd be curious to see what the PFF final numbers were. I bet you they're not good. I bet you the grades are going to be horrific because Seattle was able to get into the backfield all day long. And by the way, part of that is hats off to Seattle because, again, their front 7 is very talented. Very talented front 7, and you can't.
Shit, I would say their front 5 is talented. Yeah, so you add the extra 2 guys in. Absolutely. Who was playing left guard today?
Barch.
I don't remember complaining about Barch all game long. I don't remember screaming at my TV about Barch all game long. Don't be surprised if he has the highest graded of an offensive lineman.
It was hopscotch. It was Trent Williams looking washed as fuck. I saw him get pushed in the backfield multiple times, and then he had the hold. I saw Brendel absolutely get abused. There was one run in particular where essentially the Seattle defender just like hockey fight where you pull the sweater over the guy's head, just grabbed his back and just pulled him down to the ground, and then it was 2 guys right there. And then of course Colt McKivitz doing Colt McKivitz things. I don't know who scouts offensive linemen for the 49ers, but you need to keep Kyle the fuck out of that room because he thinks Brendel and McKivitz are good, and that enough should be disqualifying. They're not good at all. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. But those 3 guys got bullied. Pooney was fine. He got hurt though, and that kind of sucks. But yeah, it just wasn't good, man.
So I asked my chat this, Matt. I'm going to ask you, and we can ask it to Zach when he comes back. But if there were 2 position groups that you would make in-season trade for based off of just game 1, and I'll be honest with you, it changed throughout because I asked this at halftime. I asked this question at halftime. What 2 position groups would you say the Niners need to make in-season trades for?
Yeah, offensive line and probably I would say wide receiver.
See, I'm not mad at that. So at halftime, it was offensive line and tight end. But we saw something come out of Jake at the end of the second half of the game.
And by the way, Farrell, on that 4th down conversion, he caught that ball and got drilled, and he held onto it. That's your job,
he held onto it. Yes, he did. Right. That's and so I was like, oh, we got something in Farrell. The next thing you know, they're looking at Farrell and focusing on him, and Jake goes out there and takes advantage of it. So I love seeing those 2 guys play off of each other, man. That tight end room had themselves a day. We had 2 touchdowns from two tight ends. That's great.
You can't trade for a kicker, brother. There's so many good ones out there. Again, Greg Joseph is on speed dial. He's ready to come in, and that's good enough. But yeah, so the reason why I say wide receiver is just like when you get past, and it'll be different when Ayuk and Robinson are back, and maybe that becomes a position group that you don't have to do that for. But even today, just before he got hurt, what I saw from Jennings was like 2023 Jennings, 2022 Jennings. It wasn't last year Jennings. It was short passes in 3rd down where he was able to get upfield a little bit. He didn't look very dynamic. He didn't look like somebody who needs to be making $20 million a year.
Yeah, we did have 1 3rd and Juwan conversion in this game, and it was in the 3rd quarter. Late in the 3rd quarter,
but again, that's a niche, right? That's a niche. That's not $20 million a year. I expect you to be on every down. You know what I mean? And today, Ricky Pearsall looked more like a $20 million wide receiver than Juwan Jennings did.
Yeah,
So hopefully you get Ayuk back. Pearsall continues to grow. You get DeMarcus Robinson back, who's a nice compliment, and maybe Juwan Jennings is wide receiver 4, and that would be ideal for me. And then maybe you move on to a different position group. I was encouraged by what I saw from Siegel. Pinnock wasn't offensive, and then if you get Malik Mustafa back, and you play Siegel and Mustafa, then maybe you got some stuff going on there. But yeah, just offensive line has to be addressed, man. And I don't even care how they do it. It needs to get done. You know,
Yeah.
whether that's
Yeah.
maybe you can snake Jawan Taylor out of, or fuck, I mean, go back to the Chiefs instead of Jawan Taylor. Go back and trade them for Jalen Moore. Get Jalen Moore back in here. You know what I mean? But anything is better than McKivitz. McKivitz is dog water, and you got a real problem on your hand. I'm hoping that I don't know. Maybe Trent Williams got too many rest days, but he looked bad. He looks old. He looks slow.
I am going to chalk it up to just not playing.
I'm
no
hoping.
real play time. What was this penalty? It wasn't a false start. It was
a hold.
It was a holding. It was a hold, right? So
yeah,
I'm gonna chalk it up to that. And
Fire Lager, I got some bad news for you, brother.
Drake Nugent.
I think they released him.
They let him go. He's not.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't think he's here anymore, bro.
Is he on the practice squad?
Maybe, but I'm pretty sure they released him for the final 53 touchdowns. I'll have to look it up. I'm not sure. But here's what I will say, though. I do expect a penalty from Trent Williams, a game. And I'm not saying that tongue-in-cheek. I legitimately just say, all right, Trent, get it out the way type of thing, right? He did it at a really bad time. You know who else did there to the bad time? The opposite tackle, and Colton McKivitz. He had a Mike McGlinchey-esque penalty, right? Like it was the second to last drive, and it was like, oh my God, dude, like not right now. You know, like I was really, really upset. But I like what you said, wide receiver. But see, the reason I wouldn't necessarily do wide receivers because we got two really good guys coming back in the next 3 to 6 weeks. So,
well,
you know,
to be fair, you said based off of week 1. So,
yeah,
like,
true.
yes, I do know.
True.
I do know that they are coming back. Robinson should be back week 4 after the Cardinals game, and so Ayuk can come off for week 5, but I don't think he will because it's a short week Thursday in Los Angeles on artificial turf. I think they wait till week 6. I think
that's the perfect time to bring him back, right? So I say you throw him out there, and now you got 10 days to rest and recover before the next game instead of, you know what I'm saying, the regular rigors of a week, and you got to hurry.
He's going to need, after that much time off, though, I think he needs build-up, and I think it would be better to bring him back after that. Like because if he's active, that means somebody else has to go. You have to get rid of somebody.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a wide receiver, though. So you get rid of an extra.
No, but it could be somebody else that would be useful because if you activate him when he's not eligible to come off PUP until the day after like week 4. So when week 5 starts, he's so like they play Sunday. I forget who they play, but he would be eligible to come off PUP on Monday. And so then he comes off Monday, and then he's going to play a game on Thursday. That doesn't make much sense to me. It makes more sense to activate him the Friday after the Rams game and then have him practice throughout the week to get ready for a Sunday game where he on natural grass at Tampa Bay, where he would, be able to kind of work his way in a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. That wouldn't bother me either way. If they do bring him back, don't make him be the starter and the player all game long. You know what I mean? Like he should be a rotational guy if he is going to come back on a Thursday. Is kind of my point, and then let him see how he feels afterwards and all that. And you got, like I said, the 10 days. I think I'm going to go with maybe somebody else on the defensive line because, like you said, I was looking for the CJ West and the Collins, right? Like
they didn't really play though. That's the thing. Like I'm okay with trading for them or trading for somebody if they don't work out, but like it's really hard to tell because the rookies didn't get practice, and those two specifically were brought here to stop the run, and they really didn't get any runs. So you're running back out there with Samo, like we said, Kalia Davis, like we said, and it's just like. And
by the way, it looked like it too. Like not only didn't they play, and those were guys that were drafted to stop the run. It looked like it. They were running the ball. Do you have the stats pulled up over there? I want to know how many yards per carry, per rush attempt they had on us because it felt bad. It felt like
it felt bad.
Like
it really wasn't when you look at the stats. When you look at the stats for the Seahawks, Zach Charbonnet had 12 carries for 47 yards, which is 3.9 a carry. Kenneth Walker only had 20 yards on 10 carries. So like all in all, like stats wise, I think it was just the situations. It seemed like on 3rd and short or like 2nd and short, they got just enough yardage to get through. And then sometimes they would get blown up in the backfield on like, 2nd and long or whatever. I think situationally it was more the issue. So.
Any long-term or not long term, but any concerns coming out of this game going to next week? They go to New Orleans to face the Saints.
New
right?
Orleans, yeah.
Fuck yeah, concerns, man. George Kittle's done
George
for the next
Kittle.
3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, George
Is that
Kittle's
what
going to
they're
be
saying?
gone. I mean,
No,
that's
what
just
I'm saying.
Okay.
yeah.
okay.
I actually agree with Mike. He's going to miss a couple weeks for sure, just because when you come out of the game and it's like, oh, I got a hamstring, and they immediately rule you out, that means it's like not a good hamstring. Like he was toast right off
Like
rip.
That part.
like a pull, a
Right.
strain. What do you like? What?
Like you're talking about like a ham. So there's different grades, right? A pull of a hamstring is essentially like a minor tear in the. You could either
Right.
be in the muscle belly or wherever else. But if it's like a grade 1, okay, you come back maybe in like 1 or 2 weeks. If it's a grade 2, he's gonna miss like 3 to 5 weeks.
So
And
here
because
was
they
my
ruled him
issue
out,
with-
I suspect grade 2. He's 31 years old. He's like, he didn't play a lot in the preseason. And there's a difference between football conditioning and just being in general condition. And he plays a position where he's getting leveraged high on his legs, high center of gravity, which puts a lot of pressure on your posterior chain. He needs to make quick cuts. I think that he's going to be out. Now, will he try to come back early? Probably, because that's just how Kittle is. But
So my biggest issue was how quickly his helmet was taken from him, and he had the baseball cap on, right?
Yeah.
Football cap, I guess, on. It was that I didn't even see them working with like the massage guns on his thighs or his calves or anything like that. Like it was immediate. Like, oh, he's done. Like, no way. And we were losing at that point, so it's not like we were up and they were like, hey, we think we got this game in the bag. You can sit down and chill. It wasn't that. We needed offensive production, and they just were like, yeah, he's done. And that kind of scared me a little bit. So I am concerned about George Kittle going forward. There were a couple of other injuries in this game, but none of them that really make me worried. Pooney ended up coming back in this game. Obviously, Fred Warner ended up coming back out there. Who was the other one? There was someone else that we lost. Oh, Juwan Jennings, the shoulder.
Juwan Jennings, shoulder, yeah.
I don't know how long he's going to be out. And again, I didn't.
Pam
watch the
Oliver
rest of it. I'm
said
gonna do
that he
after
was
this.
having a hard time raising it over his head, which is not the best.
Yeah, it's ugly.
And especially, it's different if you're playing a position where you don't have to have your arms over your head, but like, how is he going to reach for passes if he has to do that?
Right.
Sheldon, do you like this? Is what a podcast is, brother. Like you talk about all the things. Like we can't talk about Moody for an hour and we talked about Moody already. There's more things that go into this, right? Like there's a lot of other things that happened today that weren't good.
Yeah. What would you have us talk about, man? Do you want us to just glaze the team? Like, if you want that, go to David Lombardi's Twitter page. You can find that perfectly over there.
Right.
We
Hey,
have
we're
to
talking
call
about
it like we
injuries. It's
see
not like
it.
we're
So
talking.
he wants
trash
us to be
about
a
people.
Jake Moody. He wants us to be a Jake Moody and Shanahan play calling episode. Okay. Jake Moody was 1 for
Trash.
3. One he missed. The other was blocked, which wasn't his fault. How much longer should we discuss that? Because we mentioned that as soon as I jumped in here.
Well, hold on, Mike. Now hold on. He did have 4 kickoffs, and 2 of them were touchbacks, including the one in the fourth quarter where he could have used something in the landing zone. So there's that too. We can talk about that if you want.
Right.
Well, I will say this: in the fourth quarter when he put him in the landing zones, because our special teams didn't block anybody, and the one before that, the guy got out to like damn near the 40. So if I'm him and the special teams coach, I'm saying don't give him a chance to return
Right.
it, just kick it to the end zone, because he got to the 40 and it was a shoestring tackle. Otherwise, he would have still been running. So I mean, what do you want the guy to do?
Shelton, we have to look forward to the rest of the season. Some of these things are a problem.
Right.
Okay.
They go past this week.
It's in the I sent it to you, Zach. Per next gen stats, Brock Purdy was pressured on 57.9% of his dropbacks today.
That's horrible.
Single highest pressure rate faced in a single game in his career. That's on the offensive line, a lot of that. And that's a problem. It's something that needs to be talked about. It's not about acting like we lost.
It's about identifying issues going forward, and that's
Right.
what we're doing.
And what to expect going forward.
We didn't need next gen stats to tell us that. We saw the game.
We saw
and
it.
So I get it. There are some people that subscribe to larger platforms than what we have. right?
Sure.
And so once those larger platforms say it, then they think it's okay for us smaller platforms to talk about it. We're not those guys. We are going to analyze and dissect on the spot, especially immediately after a game. This is literally called the instant recap. This is called the overreaction show. Like, that's what we are here and doing. And so when we watch this offensive line look like trash, 3 of the 5 guys were not average, not good. They were bad. 3 of the 5 offensive linemen were bad. We don't need next-gen stats to say, hey, this dude was pressured damn near 60% of the time. We don't need them to say that for us. We watched it with our own eyes. I mean, you're looking at the screen. There's 8 set of eyes on the screen that watched it. Yes, Zach has 2 sets of eyes. I said it because he's got glasses. All right? There are 8 set of eyes that watched this game, and we know how bad they were.
DeAndre, listen, New Orleans has a good defensive line too.
I mean, I somewhat agree with this. I see what he's saying, at least. This is going to be the toughest defensive line they face for the next few weeks, I would say. And
maybe
Mike McDonald gives the 49ers fits as it is, right? So I get what he's saying, but it's still an issue because it's not like this came up out of nowhere. It was an issue all last year. It was the reason why they didn't win the Super Bowl.
Right, exactly.
The offensive line has continued to be an issue. So it's just... It's a continuation of something that we've been talking about for years.
Also, maybe try caps lock off, brother.
Hey, look, I got this for y'all.
Great point, Chrissy. Sorry. It forces Brock to make bad decisions. Mike, please.
To Chrissy's point.
Well,
you want
it puts him in a position where he is more
likely
prone to making bad decisions because Brock still, you can't take 100% of that off of Brock. Brock needs to do a better job
for sure.
You know what I mean? By the way, Aaron, go ahead, Mike. And I want to bring up Aaron Granato's comment because I agree with it 100%.
Well, you can go ahead and bring that up now, and then because it's going to be to what I was going to.
This is my biggest issue with not addressing O-line and making it a good one. Brock Purdy's short. They should be taking the New Orleans Drew Brees approach, where you have a fantastic like Willie Roaf and people of that nature to open up throwing lanes for Brock Purdy. Rather than having Colt McKivitz who just, throws lookout blocks. You know the block I'm talking about where this guy gets by him and he just goes, look out. That happened multiple times. Yep. You can't have people in Brock Purdy's lap and then expect him to be able to have clear throwing lanes. He needs a nice pocket just to be able to see in general. But how many of these throws is he throwing blind to a spot? I can't see that shit. I just hope the guy's there. And you can't. And by the way, you can't make Brock Purdy taller. What are you going to do? Put him in lifted cleats? No, you're not going to do that. So if you don't address the O-line and have an O-line that can protect him and open up throwing lanes for him like they did in New Orleans, it's going to be a problem.
Hey, you guys hear that? Nothing, right? I got a new wire, baby. Let's go.
Hey,
yeah, the wire issues are going. Here, I got a hot take for you guys. It's going to be...
So, Mike, wait. So you mean to tell me that you had an issue and then you fixed it?
You addressed it with proper resources?
I addressed the issue and fixed it. Oh, my God. Who does that, right? What? Exactly. That's kind of what we're saying. So here we go. I got a hot take for you guys, and it's going to be a positive one in favor of Brock Purdy. You ready?
Yeah.
This will be the only game Brock Purdy throws 2 interceptions in all season long.
Let's go.
All right.
How's that for a hot take for you, right? So, one, you got Mike McDonald, who is one of those guys that Kyle struggles against. Boom. So we went from 5 interceptions the last time we played his defense to just 2 in this game, right? Trent Williams getting his legs back under him.
Baltimore, right?
Yep. Yes, sir. Exactly, right? So, boom, you already go from 5 to 2. That's a positive step in the right direction, okay?
Yeah.
Then you got Trent Williams earning his stripes and getting back in there. And I'm not saying that the interceptions were on him, although I did say that one was because of him, because the following down we had to throw it, right? But cool. Take that all away, right? This team is playing against a divisional opponent that knows them really, really well, right? Regardless of who their coordinator is, those players on the opposite side of our offensive linemen know how to get in the heads of the offensive linemen. Okay, so this is probably the worst that we're going to see for a really, really long time. I am going to say it right now. Brock Purdy will not have another 2-interception game all season long. We got the worst out of the way. How is that for some positivity?
That's great.
I hope that makes you guys out there feel better if you think we're being too negative after a win, because I'm fired up. Do you guys take shots?
No.
Matt and Zach?
I don't.
I mean, not in a while, no.
Do you guys have a beer over there? Like, I want to take a victory shot on your channel with my people from Nothing But Niners. Like, you don't have anything.
I can
you
get
got
some
water.
alcohol. I can get some
Can you
alcohol.
like?
I
mean,
got
it's
water.
bad luck to do it
I
with
got
water.
right here.
All right, well then fine. Let's just
wait.
let's
Is
just
it bad? Is it bad luck to do it with water?
It's supposedly bad luck to cheers with water.
I mean, I could grab something.
Yeah.
It's up to you guys, but look, I got my whiskey over here, and you see it in the gallon jug. I got my shot glasses. I would love to do one with you guys. This is our first time
give me
doing
2
this in
minutes.
2025.
All right, yeah,
Let's go.
fuck.
Let's go, baby. Come
All
on,
right,
yeah,
hold it down.
peer
Give-
pressure,
give me-
baby.
Give me a second.
Yeah,
Give me a second.
get y'all asses out of here. That's right, huh? Everybody that's out there watching from the Nothing But Niners channel, we're showing them how to do it
Jesus
our
Christ.
way right now. Yeah, peer pressure.
I'll go grab a shot of bourbon. But
There we go. That's what I'm drinking too. Let's
Give me a
go,
second.
man.
I'll be
Get
right
that
back. I'll be right
brown,
back.
baby. Let's go, baby.
So
All
you
right,
have to carry the show till I go grab it and come back.
Come on, man. I got this for the next 20 minutes, bro. Don't worry. All right, so let me tell you guys something that I couldn't say while Zach and Matt were here because I don't think that they were going to agree with me at all. I don't know if Brant Boyer is the answer at special teams, guys. While I was so excited and I was celebrating and all that stuff, some of these mistakes that we were making fall on coaching, right? There was this play where we had a penalty on special teams, and the gunner intentionally ran out of bounds and then came back in, and they threw a penalty. That's on coaching. You have to let your guys know, hey, dude, psst, we can't do that. That's not something that we can do in special teams. And so that's what I need. I need someone out there to talk about, right? Because while I am hoping that the special teams improves, that penalty, not cool. Sky Moore, not cool. I have concerns about special teams still. There we go. We got the Tito's for the dub, baby. We got the Tito's for the dub, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
My tail crate shot glass from when the 49ers COVID season.
I'm going to use this one
Nice.
here. I'm going to pour some. There's nothing in here right now. I'm going to pour some up. I'm going to wait for Matt to get back.
By the way,
but
while we're oh, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
no, I was going to say for everybody out there in the chat right now, man, put a picture up. Give us a thumbs up. You know what? No, give us the number one. Everybody in the chat that's about to take a drink with us right now, just put the number one in the chat. One win. 1 week, 1 win. Put that number one in the chat. I don't care if you guys are doing it with water. Put the ones in the comment section right now. I want to see it. I want to see what you guys are going to do, all right? Jerry, I can't do where's the link because this isn't my channel. So normally they come on. That's why Jerry's asking where the link is. They all want to come on camera and do it with us. But we're going to show them at 49ers Hive how we do it on Nothing But Niners, baby. We celebrate the dubs, right? And when Matt comes back, I'm going to tell you guys one more thing, all right, before we do it. Chrissy is 5 years sober. Chrissy, don't break that sobriety.
Yes,
sobriety.
no.
You go out there and you get your water. All right. Leslie is also sober. I tell her it's okay for her to do it with the water. Class Alzul, I see you over there, man. Let's go, man. I see those ones popping up in the chat, man. It's too many of y'all out there to not see more ones in the chat. Y'all get your drinks. I don't care if it's Yoo-Hoo or Capri Sun. You go out there and you get your drink. Matt is back. Let's go, baby. Before we do this also, not only are we going to do this for the win, all right? He said, I'm taking a shot of breast milk. Somebody get Shelton the fuck off the street.
That's a sick man.
Somebody get Shelton the fuck off the street.
I have
This
it
guy
on good
thinks that he's...
authority. I have it on good authority that Shelton Wadsworth Jr. is Ollie's burner account.
This guy thinks that he's Homelander from The Boys. I don't know if you guys
From
watch
The
that show.
Boys, yeah.
It is a great show.
I do.
Yeah. So I love that show. But listen, not only are we doing this for week 1 49ers dub, today is my 14th wedding anniversary with me and my wife. So my wife has been dealing with me. All right. So I'm going to go out there and give her some whiskey D later on. I'm kidding. My kids are watching. I should not have said that.
Warm vodka is the worst. So I hate you guys for making me do this, but let's do it.
There we go. Now, wait. We got a poem that we say. All right. We have a poem on Nothing But Niners that we say. Look at the super chats coming. I love you guys, man. Very, very, very beautiful. I love it. Here we go. You guys ready? Through the lips and past the gums. Watch out, tummy. Here it comes.
Cheers.
Salute.
Cheers, fellas.
And that's how we do it on Nothing But Niners, baby. Happy anniversary to my wife, man. Thank you for tolerating me for 14 plus years, man. Let's go, baby. That's how we do it. All right. While you guys were away.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you guys both. I talked about, is Brant Boyer actually the answer? Because he approved the Sky Moore acquisition. We had a penalty of a guy who purposely and intentionally ran out of bounds as a gunner.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of special teams? The tackling was abysmal. I talked about the run before Jake Moody's kicks into the end zone in the fourth quarter. Right before that was the 37-yard return, right? Like, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on the special teams unit?
I want to say it's a work in progress, right? I want to say let's not overreact. It's 1 week. It's tough when you replace everything but the kicker and you expect it to get better. But to your credit, Mike, the mistakes weren't only on Moody. I mean, you had special teams lapses. We counted at least 5 to 6 errors today, whether it's kicked in the end zone, whether it's mistakes, whether it's flags, whether it's, blocked kicks. Like the unit as a whole was not good. I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to say it's only 1 week, a work in progress, but it's not too bright looking to start. Matt?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No, listen, statistically, it would tell you that Boyer should be able to get the job done. But I'm with Zach. You want to give it time, but it's got to be defeating to have so much concentration on, Jake Moody and what's Jake Moody doing, and this and this and that. I feel like that was a huge concentration for them, and it could cost them in other areas. You spend so much time on, again, we talk about the kicking competition and all this stuff. Maybe some of the stuff gets eaten up by that whole thing. It's kind of ridiculous because they had no problem replacing Wishnowski at the drop of a hat with Thomas Morstead, who looked fine today. Yeah, but at the same time, it's just like, again, if it wasn't for the third round pick capital that Jake Moody has built up, he would have been gone too. And I don't understand what that is. Like, Jake Moody being drafted third. But Jake Moody being drafted in the third round and getting cut, you already have one on the books with Trey Lance. 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance. And so why do you think Jake Moody is going to cost you? You're giving Jake Moody way more leeway than you ever gave Trey Lance. Why?
Yeah, so I actually have an answer for that. And I don't think it's just the field goals. And that's what we got to kind of stop thinking about, right? Like, Jake Moody is a really good directional kicker for kickoffs, and he gets the depth. Like, if they say they want to end the field of play or the little the hot zone, I forget, there's a phrase that they have for it, like that sweet spot, right? He does that well. The landing zone. The G spot, the landing zone. Yeah. They have, he does that well, and then it's, you know what, forget it, just kick it into the end zone. And so I don't think that Greg Joseph was doing that as well as him. So it's twofold. So we got to remember, at the point that they cut Greg Joseph, there was only a 1 kick difference between them in field goals. And so then you have to also include the other factor of it. And I think that's why it made it harder for them to move on from Jake Moody. And so I'm not saying that doesn't mean you can't move on from him. But now when you have a workout, that guy not only has to make field goals in a 1-day workout window, he's also got to do it on kickoffs. And they have to tell him, hey, we want you to try to kick this at the 2 or 3 yard line. We want you to kick it to the 2 or 3 yard line, but to the right corner. The 2 or 3 yard line, but to the left corner. It's like they have to be able to get that kind of control from somebody. And a 1-day workout for any kicker, it's going to be tough to accomplish that. So the best bet was throughout preseason and training camp. And clearly Moody won that competition. So we have to keep that in mind when we're looking at we're reacting to just the field goals. We're not talking about the kickoffs, I should say.
We got a super chat from Mark here. $20. Ugly, concerning, but we got the dub. Appreciate your contributions, Mark. Thank you.
He's not wrong. And that's the thing. And that's when people are like, why don't you talk about this? Why don't you talk about that? It's like, why are you guys so negative? Whatever. No, we're just being objective. You know what I mean? It's just, I personally look at the season and I'm like, I identify things very quickly where I'm just like, okay, this looks like it could potentially be a problem. And I'm not going to be so up the team's ass like some people are, or on the other end, so anti-team that they could do no right. I call balls and strikes. I call it how I see it. That's the way all three of us do it. And like, why would you want it any other way?
Yeah. One thing real quick. Go ahead, Mike.
That comment you just had up there.
Yeah.
I know we're wrapping up really soon. I will be doing the post-game presser breakdown immediately after the show. So if you guys are still out there, tune in.
Go check out Nothing But Niners.
Yep.
Yeah, there were one thing I wanted to bring up. We talked about Ricky Pearsall, and I just love visuals. This chat from Next Gen Stats on NFL. I mean, there should have been a touchdown included in here if Purdy put enough mustard on it.
Oh
or if he
my
threw it sooner.
God, look at those routes.
Look at this. This is a wide receiver one, guys. I mean, we've been hearing it all offseason. It's beautiful to see for the 49ers, especially
Is
with
the
Ayuk
shortest
out.
route 10 yards? I'm sorry.
I mean, it looks like it.
Yeah.
It looks like it.
And so by the way, these are not all the routes that he ran. These are just all the routes that he was targeted on.
Right. Oh yeah, you're right. Just the targets. So beautiful, absolutely beautiful to see. Also, Mike, I wanted to just one quick pushback. You said there was only a 1 kick difference when they cut Greg Joseph. It's not the practice that Moody has the issues in. It's the actual
games.
Like, it's just too much pressure for his fucking brain to handle or something, and he crumbles. We saw him out there even after he missed the kick in the first half, and he was drilling them, in halftime. While Fitz and the Tantrums was out there playing at Lumen Field. It's the actual games that he fucks up at.
And this goes back to 2023 when he missed 2 consecutive game winners at Cleveland and then at Minnesota.
Yep.
All the way back to that. So we have multiple years of him having these issues, and we got all caught up. Hey, maybe this new kick delivery or whatever. And like I told you in the preseason when I saw it in the third game, to now it's again. Listen, you can shine up a turd; it's still a turd, right? You can change delivery of the kick, but it's still same old Moody because it's not what's in the leg; it's what's between the ears, and what's between the ears is weakness. Yeah. He's mentally weak.
Super chat for Forever Blessed. Go Niners, baby. $2. Thank you.
No, that's not what it says. It says, "Go Niners, baby." I can't do the. I don't know how to do that part, so. Yeah. I don't know that Jake Moody wouldn't have been better. He only had one opportunity after the miss. The other one was blocked, so I don't attribute that to him. And then the other one he made. So I don't know. I can't say that he wouldn't have been. So I don't know if you guys remember. I said Jake Moody was going to go 3 or 4 in this game. We said that on our game preview show. I said Jake Moody was going to go 3 for 4 in this game, right? I expected him to miss one. He did miss one, but the other one was blocked. That I did not account for. So if he makes that one and then he makes the other one, he's 1 for 3. I mean, I don't feel terrible about it. And I'm not, guys. If Jake Moody is cut today, I'm not going to shed a tear. I'm not going to, be upset about it. I'm just saying that we have to just keep in mind and like compartmentalize what we are seeing with this kid. It is what it is. Fuck it. I don't even care anymore. I don't care.
So we're gonna wrap up here. Let's wrap up on this last picture from none other than Hawk Blogger, and you got him cheering on Jake Moody. This is a picture and 3 tweets. A story and 3 tweets, I should say. Jake fucking Moody. That's 7 picks in 4 games for Purdy against McDonald. Rough loss. Let's talk about it.
Wait, so you said 7. That says 6.
No. Read what he's quoting. Or the quote tweet is 7 and 4.
Oh, because he got 2 in this game. Okay, yeah. I get it. He posted 1, then he posted the other. Okay.
Yeah. It's convenient he's counting 4 games because that's going back to the Ravens defense, which the Seahawks do not have. However, nothing else after they lost or in between that and the loss, just rough loss. Let's talk about it. So that's a story and 3 tweets, guys. Shout out to Hawk Blogger. Hope that L tastes good. That's 4 straight at Lumen, by the way. Purdy has also never lost at Seattle. So shout out to Purdy, at least being consistent in that sense, because that would have been an ugly. The 49ers would have been the only team to lose in the NFC West today had Purdy not led them on that game-winning drive, had Bosa not solidified the dub in the end on defense. But instead, the Seahawks are the only team that lost. The only team that lost, in the division today. So shout out to them. I see somebody in the chat saying, "Go Cards." If you're talking about the Arizona Cardinals, barely beat the Saints. So maybe you're talking about the baseball Cardinal. I don't know. I'm not.
I'll take it. I mean, I tell you what, they said that Kyler Murray may not be playing today. Like he came down with some illness at the right before the game, but then he was out there running his ass off in the first half. So I don't know what they saw.
Did you see his pregame outfit?
I did.
It's something my 2-year-old daughter would wear.
Was it like colorful Dora the Explorer?
It was like bedazzled. It was like a bedazzled pink sweater.
But he does shop at Baby Gap, so
it looks like the style that like a toddler would wear, right? It's all slightly oversized, right? It's not like.
But what's supposed to be his size? Like he's a grown man that wears like an extra small.
3T.
Yeah,
Let me see if I can
But-
find it.
Now, while he's looking for that, around the league, guys, I was very happy for Justin Fields. Who won that Steelers game, by the way? I don't know.
Steelers.
The Steelers
did win it.
Yeah.
I was happy for Justin Fields today.
Aaron Rodgers with 4 touchdowns. That's crazy.
No, Aaron Rodgers also did look good. So, but oh wow,
There it is.
Oh wow.
Someone said he
That's
looks
something
like
my daughter would wear.
He looks like a Labubu, which cracked me up.
That's
Who
funny.
the fuck let him out of the house like that? Jesus Christ, man.
That is funny.
You know what? Maybe it's just me being my age or whatever. I don't understand fashion these days. Maybe that looks great to all the younger people. I don't know.
It's the shit that. Oh, sorry, I replaced my.
Oh, there you go. I was like, bring this back, buddy. Don't.
It's the shit that these stylists have these players. Where watching quarterback this past season with Joe Burrow on it, and he has. You can tell when he dresses himself because it's like a t-shirt and jeans. And then when some stylists dress him, he's got like some blouse that buttons in the back on and like leather assless chaps. Like, who said this was good?
All I want to say, Zach, and you'll understand this too, there's a reason why a 3-piece suit hasn't changed in like 200 years.
100%. You never go wrong with a 3-piece suit.
No.
Jesus Lord, missed the show. Is this Brock Purdy's first fourth quarter comeback win? He had the one in the Packers versus the Packers in the playoffs. Regular season, maybe. I had seen a stat today that he didn't have a touchdown when they were down inside of 4 minutes. So this would have been the first one of those as well.
That Lions game wasn't a fourth quarter comeback?
Yeah, I mean, they were up already. Weren't they up by the time?
I think they were up going
Maybe
into
we
the
were
fourth quarter
tied.
at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe we were tied.
Because it was 17 at half. They were
Yeah.
down 17 at half and then came back.
So I think by the time they got into the fourth quarter, it was tied. I could be wrong.
All right. Well, look. Let me start the recap here. Or let me start the finishing comments here, and then we'll get out of here. Oh no, that's not an NFC Championship. I'm looking at the score for that game here. We won 34-31, and it was 14-0, and then at halftime it was 24-7, and then we scored 17, so it was 24-24 in the third. Okay, so
And then they never looked back.
yeah, so that's why it was tied up going in. Okay, so that's not.
By the way,
considered.
real quick, for your final thoughts, it looks like that's the Lions peaked there. Doesn't look like they're ever going to get back to that. You know, everybody always acts like it's sequential where you do better than last year.
Yeah.
It looks like
quite
that
work.
was their shot.
Green Bay punked them today.
Whooped 'em.
And golly, shout outs to my poor wife who has to sit through the Miami Dolphins season this year.
Oh my gosh, listen. I need you. Don't hide the alcohol in the house, Matt. Don't let her do this to herself. It's going to be an ugly year for them. I think that Mike McDaniels. I thought he was going to get fired today.
Yeah.
Thank God they scored at some point in the third or fourth quarter, but it's not looking good for them.
Listen, I got a picture of both of my daughters in 49er stuff from today. I told my wife, there is still room on the bandwagon for you. 3 out of 4 of the family is already here. You're more than welcome.
There you go.
Raise the kids right, baby. Raise the kids right.
No
That's
more
what you're supposed to do.
turn the ball over. We're done with
Yeah.
that.
Tua turned the ball over. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. That's very good. All right, here's my final takeaway, man. And I am going to play Pet That Dog one more time, right? I highlighted D. Winters on the defensive side of the ball already. I am going to highlight Jake Tungus because it's not that he had a better game than Ricky Pearsall. Ricky Pearsall was the number 1 target, but this guy had to step up in the absence of somebody else and answer the bell. So I'm going to give him my dog of the day on the offensive side of the ball. All right, so. All right, go ahead.
Did you know he didn't have a single reception before today in the NFL?
Yes. Oh, no, not in the NFL. I knew that he didn't have one with the Niners. I didn't know it was in the
wild,
NFL.
No, a single NFL reception. All right, maybe it was a regular season stat. Maybe he had some in the preseason in his previous teams. But that was his first. Today was his first NFL reception, and then he gets a touchdown to win it all. A grown man touchdown, by the way. He ripped that shit away.
Like bully ball right there. Yeah. So I want to give those two guys my dog of the day awards. But listen, man, the 49ers had to show some grit and tenacity to go out there and win this game. We were in a hostile environment. The noise was through the roof out there. Seattle fans absolutely showed up. This is not a reflection of the 12. I hate calling them that because of Texas, but cool, right? This was not a reflection of the 12. The Seattle fans showed up and showed out. I could not hear Niner fans out there when Seattle was on offense at all. So they did a good job. Right. They were nine. I don't know if they were like doing something with the TV audio or what, but I couldn't hear them on third downs for the Seattle team. But I want to commend Kyle Shanahan for, not abandoning your team and finally having expectations. This year already feels different. I can't say it enough, man. We went out there and we won a tough one. And I'm talking about tough to the point where it was almost like that Dre Greenlaw for first place interception play on the goal line, right? Like they were right there, similar distance, similar down, and we ended up getting the fumble instead of the interception. But a turnover is a turnover, and we absolutely needed that. So I want to applaud the 49ers there. And then my last thing is this. This is how I end the night with my dog award.
Sleep.
I can't go to sleep. That's it. I'm done. I'm done.
All right, Matt, final thoughts? Or you want, actually, I'll go first, then we'll end with you.
Go ahead. Yep.
This was a game, like I said multiple times now, the 49ers did not win last year and struggled to win the year before. So I am very, very pleased with that. It wasn't perfect by any means. In fact, there's a lot to clean up, and you got some injury concerns moving forward. But the schedule is the schedule, and it looks, nothing is easy in the NFL, right? But it looks like the 49ers matchup still pretty good for the next couple of weeks, and they should be able to get healthy. They only have to get through 2 more games before they get Demarcus Robinson back. Hopefully Kittle's injury is not too serious. Hopefully Jennings' injury is not too serious. And maybe going into next week, if you know you're not going to have one or both of those guys, you can game plan for it. McCaffrey looked good. Hopefully they get Jordan Watkins back and Jordan James back too. That would be great additions to get those rookies in there. This secondary is only going to get better, right? This is solid wide receiver unit. You got JSN and then a bunch of mid receivers, but they will get better. I really do think they will. Nick Martin was a healthy scratch today. I do think that hopefully by next week he can be active and contribute, but D Winters and Fred Warner looks like a hell of a linebacker duo. I'm excited to see what they can do moving forward, especially with Robert Saleh here. Matt, take us home.
Yeah, listen, ugly win is still a win, and they're not all going to look like that. A lot of them are going to look much more smooth, much more crisp, probably starting with week 2. So that's foreshadowing for the preview show for this week. I think it's just going to be Mike and Zach. I'm taking my girls to Disneyland, so I won't be able to make it, but I will be here for the recap show for that. Anyway, a lot to like, some stuff that needs to be cleaned up. To be expected in the early season, I don't think anybody comes out firing on all cylinders. And the fact of the matter is, like the boys said, it's one of those where maybe in past seasons we don't win that game. Right. We come out on the wrong side of it. And so you have to be encouraged by the fact that they won. And maybe this year's team is going to be built on grit, and there's nothing wrong with a little bit of grittiness. So thank you, everybody, for joining us here today. For Mike, for Zach, for myself, we love having you here. We love getting a dub right off the bat. We couldn't do this without you. So for everybody here, for myself, until next time, go Niners.